What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. You guys are ready to go. We got one, two, three, four. Can't count this high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row bullish. Can we throw another one? Is the market going to stay bullish? I don't know. What I am bullish on, what I am bullish on is the squadron showing up nice and strong today. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. We got Amy, Bill, David, D, Di, and good morning. We got Eric, George, Jay, Jeff is in the house. Good morning to you. We got Jeremy, Jill, Joe, JT. All the J's are here. We got Kevin, Stone, Lauren in the house. Good morning. We got Martina, Mike, Sky, Win. All my peeps out there, YouTube land. We got Marie, Richard, Cute Critters, Julie, Ivo's in the house. Good morning, Dorado. You guys are strong today. Gene piling in. Ooh, squadron is here. All right, let's see what the market's got in store for us today. So far, a little bit of a gap up. They're trying. Pretty interesting gap. Still inside day, so nothing crazy. I would wait for maybe a little pullback first. I got my first level of support for that retest, 437.08. So I want to see that hold. Otherwise, we're going to start retesting. Still get a little choppy. If we break that, we get a little bit more choppy to some resistance and okay resistance, nothing too crazy, but 436.01. And then back into like the 435.47 zone, 435.14. Somewhere in there, we should have a decent little support. We built it up over here. That should have been resistance. Very good close yesterday. I think continuation does still happen. I know it's again, it doesn't feel better from yesterday. Still feels about the same in terms of like it's difficult to go tough here. What I was thinking this morning is after this many candles, I think bulls and bears were looking for a pullback. 1, 2, 3. Okay, gap up. Okay, still got the close, but there's some people going, man, I missed this move. We will get some type of pivot. We'll get some type of pullback in here. And then I could buy the dip and we go from there. I kind of thought that too. Then you get one more gap up. You're like, this is the one. All right. You got me, market. We're going to dip here and then we'll come back. We have 2 open gaps on the SPY. We got good support resistance. Then you have a small inside day. You're like, okay, it's candles getting smaller. I'll just keep being patient. And then you get this close yesterday and a small gap up today. I think the FOMO is starting to kick in for some people. I think there's some FOMO out there that people are missing this move. And this is the difference between newbie traders and really, really successful traders is you just can't get FOMO. Eventually, I don't know when, where, how, why. But eventually, and we do have Jerome Powell today coming out too, so watch out for that. But we do have there will be a certain time, although it doesn't feel like it now, where we get this kind of pullback to some extent. How big the pullback is, it's hard to tell, but there's a difference between day trading and investing. So if you're trying to, I'm still sitting on the sidelines for this month's deposit into the long term. I'm just waiting on it. I'll collect the what is it, 4.5%, 5% interest, whatever interest rate it is until we get that pullback. Otherwise, we'll just keep waiting and find other opportunities in the market. But day trading wise, I think we're starting to really kick into a lot of that FOMO coming in to help drive us up a little bit further to the higher side. I got magic number over here. That would be I can't see it on my screen. There we go. 438.91. So that's my next level for me. If we start to get into this range, or we could blow through a little bit higher, we'll have to see. I don't really have any other VPOCs to worry about. I just got this random magic number I put on like months ago. But yeah, once we start getting into that 438.91, that's when I think for me, I'm going to start selling some of those covered calls on some positions. But that being said, we could definitely get to 442.33 and go from there. But I do think we got a little bit of FOMO kicking in, and some people that were trying to be patient starting to lose that patience, I think. And that will, of course, continue that little bit of a potential short squeeze that we have going too. So Qs, small, same thing, very small gap up. This one does look a little different than the SPY, just for the SPY is above the yesterday's VPOC. Right now, Qs would be opening below it. I do want to not take something bullish right out of the gate and on anything, just see if we get a little tiny pullback. Qs have a little bit more room to drop if they do. So if we cannot break through yesterday's VPOC 373.21, for right now, I'm going to use that as resistance. We still got 24 minutes till this market opens. And maybe we gap up past it. Maybe we open strong and we start closing above it. If we start closing above it, next level I got is 374.25. And then potentially, I think it's gonna be tough. I don't think we get there today, but 377.39, maybe somewhere we fall in the middle in this range somewhere. But we have a little bit more upside. I'm looking at that is still lots of bullish days in a row. We got that VPOC. If we're going to use that as resistance to the downside, we have at least till 369.80. So maybe we finally see a little sell off today. Maybe that's caused by Jerome Powell. I mean, he helped push that first narrative. So we'll see if he wants to flip on his positions today. We'll see. TLT. TLT is giving us still a little bit more breathing room into a little resistance at open. So we are gapping up. We are above yesterday's candle. Again, we kind of went over this. This is a gap and go from yesterday. However, the whole pattern by itself and TLT gaps a lot. So can't take the gaps too much into play. The one nice thing that we have over here is this candle that was a retest gap did have a VPOC somewhere around 88.24. We are gapping above that into a little resistance still from over here. So the spot I want to break is 88.87. Right now, I think that's going to be our strong resistance, and we do have a decent one right here, 88.75. So we're playing in a little bit of area of resistance. If we get through that, TLT could fly up to about 89.64. And then the next spot after that would be $91. So again, TLT probably won't move that much. I don't see a big massive candle today coming in. We are in this big zone of some kind of resistance. But if we can start really breaking out of that, then yeah, the market has a little bit more room to potentially push bullish. We'll see. All right, I see some of the tickers coming in from you guys. Scott says, yo, yo. All right, we got Bros, BROS up 17%. Oh, wait. Nice gap up, 17% short. I guess they finally learned how to pour a cup of coffee without spilling the profits. That is a good reference. I like that. Yeah. Is their short float really 17%? That's kind of wild. I didn't know I didn't know Bros was that high. I have 23% according to, that's even worse. Might be 17% now, depending on what you're looking at. Yeah, FinViz got them at 23. Let's see how they did on earnings. So earnings, they came in with a 7% EPS surprise, so 128% there. $6 million revenue surprise, so pretty decent earnings. You do have a little bit of resistance here. Technically, yesterday was inside candle. It was green, so this should be a retest in that sense, but I would go more off of this high wave indecision. That is a gap and go, and then we also have a little run up into this. So I think it's a little tricky into the resistance, but I don't think I want to short this one with that short float on the table. Yeah, I don't think I want to short the Dutch Bros today. I don't know if I want to be a buyer here either, though. To the higher side, if I'm looking for, we have one tiny support here, 28.73. The next spot would take us to 29.60. So that's about $1 move. It's already a pretty massive. If this thing, I think if this wants to fall down, I don't know if this is going to be a full on retest. I don't think so. So if this thing pulls back to like 27.61, that gives me much better risk reward. Maybe even into this moving average right here, and I got some VPOCs down there, $27. That would be actually a full-on retest. Um, I'll move this one up on the list. I don't think I'm going to trade this one, at least not right away. If I see a 5 wave count down, so if it's making like a good 5 wave count, we get a double bottom, we get something interesting in terms of how I can go bullish on this thing with a good risk reward, I probably will look to take that one. But I think it does resistance, big high short float. I think the short's going to try to keep this thing down, and I just don't really want to get in front of the squeeze if it happens. Let's see. We got Roblox. Yeah, Roblox, I believe, reported as well. Roblo. Where's their gap at? 41.48. That's a crazy gap. Inside candle. That's going to act as a little gap and go. We've had a little run into this. See if we get a pullback to $40, $40.06. I do love the fact that we are hanging out above that VPOC, strong longer term VPOC zone. So the fact that we're above there, I want to go bullish on even after this gap. I don't mind going bullish. Again, if I can get about $1.39 pullback, that puts us right back into that strong resistance. That should be the level I'm looking to hold. We'll throw that one up there too. Obviously this downtrend, this blue line, we'll zoom out as soon as TradingView wants to cooperate. There we go. So we do have a little bit of a downtrend. So to the upside, and it's probably going to be a pretty decent one, I would imagine, especially with that little run up into this. So now you do have some bulls profitable on this gap. But that would take us to probably roughly 43.23, somewhere in that zone. So about $2 to the high side. So if I could take this down, so if I could come in a little bit lower into this 40, that gives me about $3 higher. So even if I do like a $1 stop, that could be a $3 R or $3 R. That could be a potential 3R trade into that by being a little patient and open. Otherwise, pretty decent gap. I actually like that gap a lot, but it would have to fall back a little bit. Tesla. How do I rate the gap on Rivian? Yep. We'll go to that one next. We got Tesla. So again, Tesla's been a big ball of nothing for the last couple days. I've been sitting on my hands trading this one. I do like to trade Tesla frequently, but kind of did get a nice close. We held this support somewhere down here, although we broke it a few times. Bulls were able to rally past that 218.05, so that looks decent. We got one moving average right here. I think Tesla could see a little continuation. So obviously not really. I mean, we are gapping. This would be a retest gap. See if we can catch a pullback on this thing. I don't know how far this one wants to come back. That would be my issue. I would not mind if Tesla comes back to 220.20 again. I don't know if that's going to happen. That would be a pretty big retest. But we built in now what should have been decent resistance. We're kind of building it as support. We do have a good level over here. Obviously, we got that big gap fill. Today, I wouldn't mind going bullish on Tesla. Still, I would be a patient, probably at open. This, I think Tesla will be a good candidate for give me at least one red candle and I'll take a break because it does have a lot of room to the higher side. Obviously, we know everywhere in that zone has been a struggle bus though. So, give me that little tiny. It doesn't have to be big. In fact, I prefer not to be a huge drop first. We'll go from there. Rivian. What's Rivian short float? RIVN. 15% short float. Decent little gap. This volume candle terrifies me. Because really, until we start breaking out 21.31, that's when this thing has the ability to go nuts. Otherwise, anybody who got in there short still might want to protect their position. I would give this about a 7 out of 10. I think they missed. Yeah, so earnings per share missed. Revenue they did beat. Valuation on it is not horrible anymore. That was a good retest. So we built some kind of support. That support held pretty well. This does look like a little inverted head and shoulders. We got a little pullback first, so I don't think there's too many bulls that are being rewarded on this gap. That could give it a little bit more room to go. I'm gonna go like Dave Portnoy scores. I'm gonna go like 7.3. I like this one. This might be a fun one out of the gate. In fact, we might look at this one for pre-market break trade. We might get an early trade on this one. If there we go. TradingView doesn't want to move the stocks today. Though what I would have an issue with on this one, I like the short float. I don't think it's trapping enough people. I don't think enough of these bears are being trapped. But then the issue that I have with it is targets. It wasn't like a stellar earnings report. Somewhere when we get into this 1921, I'm going to start getting kind of scared. And then we have 1971's a really, really good resistance. Plus, we have some moving averages coming in. So for me, the gap looks pretty good. Targets are a little bit rougher. But I'd still want to go bullish on that one. Kind of like it. All right, we got NVIDIA. Take some of these off. The vids. What do we got? 12 minutes left. All right. NVIDIA could be continuation as well. Next stop that I have for NVIDIA is 463.67. We were looking at that zone yesterday. I think that today we could hit it. This would be another one. Same thing. It is inside day, so we could get a little chop. We had a beautiful retest off this longer term downtrend that we have. So there was the break. There was the retest. Even after so many bullish days in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullish days in a row on NVIDIA, I think we could put in number 8 today potentially. It's either I think we either put in number 8 green candle or today is some kind of inverse hammer. One of those two. But either way, I think we go bullish before we go bearish. At open, I do want this thing to come back because it is inside day, so it's a little choppy. We got the high of the day yesterday, somewhere around 462.23. That's kind of where we got out of our trade. If we could get down to like 460.38, the range starts to the bullish risk reward starts to fade a little bit, but I'm looking at 463.62 as my first stop, and then 469.70 is something that we absolutely can get to today. Just with the size ranges that NVIDIA could put in on a daily basis, even this candle alone is 450 to 4,000. I mean, that's a $20 candle. That's crazy. So if we think we can get to this 469.70, this trade makes a lot of sense to play this continuation. Watch out for JP. Watch out for Jeremy Room. Market is Jerome speaking now? Wait, he's not live now, is he? He's live now? Oh, okay. All right. Well, if the market's like what he's saying, then he's just kind of being a parrot to what he said last time because the market's loved it then. 9:15. All right. Scott, you're on hosting panels, just FYI. All right, let's take a look real quick at Meta. The Mets. I think there's probably better gaps today or better positions. I think the Tesla has a good continuation. I think Meta has good continuation. I mean, NVIDIA. Meta can get continuation. I would look for targets at like 321.79 to the upside. We'd have to get above this 319.23. That's yesterday's VPOC. Otherwise, in a normal day the market just doesn't look like we're in a FOMO scenario. I would actually be looking at this 319.23 as my stop, or like my bearish entry, and then stop above the high of the day yesterday, or even take my stop to like 322.18. But if this thing could push and we could get through 319.23, we got a lot of ifs on this one. But then the next target to me would be 321.79 if you must play it. After that one, we come into 325.54 and 327.88. Both are possible. We've already run pretty decent. We're not gapping as crazy bullish as some of the other stocks. So I would probably sit on my hands at least for this one and see what happens for Meta for me. Can we look at Amazon? Can we look at Snow? We got 8 minutes. I think both of those we could cover. What is happening here? I just want to delete some lines. That's it. All right. Amazon, I do think, is a continuation play for sure. This one is above yesterday's VPOC, so that's still bullish. Look for probably 143.14 as some type of support. Again, targets start to get a little sketchy, but 144.19, and then we get back to maybe like 144.25. So we do have some higher peaks or some higher potential movement, just not as much as probably Tesla and Nvidia though. But yeah, I would look for continuation. I wouldn't mind still holding this thing bullish. You do want to make sure that we're not dropping past this 143.12 or really getting closes past it. That should be our support. Microsoft, maybe I got too many lines on this one. Microsoft, same thing as Meta, so it's still inside day below that VPOC. Can we make new highs? New all-time highs today? The day is young. The day is young. We got lots of time. Lots of time. But I think that would be difficult to do unless this market is going absolutely crazy. So yeah, here's another one that great momentum, great everything is in its favor right now. Good. I think Microsoft will hit new all-time highs this year. That is a very, very strong inverted head and shoulders, clear breakout. As we start to get to this range, I don't know. I wouldn't buy this. I wouldn't invest. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't invest in Microsoft today. I'm not buying shares for the long term today. I don't think the upside is that great. I mean, it is. It's still decent. I don't know. Everything AI is back on the table. We got Snow. Again, same thing. Inside day, I'd like to wait for that to pull back a little bit. Look for somewhere to retest about like 159.70. The upside to this one, you got to be careful on. So 162.34. The next level is 163.49. So really good gap for yesterday. Probably needs a little bit of a rest inside day. And then maybe tomorrow this thing breaks out crazy. But let's see if this thing could pull back at least a little bit before it goes even on a day trade basis. Not saying that today we can't break 162.15. We already hit that one yesterday. I think that's doable. And then we have pretty strong resistance at 163.68. Past that, now we're starting to look at like 169.53. So I would need personally a little pullback on this one. It was a very nice good gap yesterday. Let's see if we get. I could probably do one more thing on this one too. Is draw that little downtrend just to see if we broke. If I'm just eyeballing, it looks like we did break that trend yesterday. Let's see. Yep. So let's see if it does something like Nvidia does. See if we get that pullback even into like maybe 157.84. That would take us. That's a good kind of retest into this downtrend, and then we look for a bounce off there. So, but see if that pullback comes in first. I think WBD, Warner Brothers. Ooh. Missing So they reported a 17-cent loss. They were only supposed to be estimated at 11 cents, so missed it by 51%. The revenue, surprise revenue beat 11 mil. Pretty good gap. Definitely trapping a lot of people. I think bearish is the direction. Support comes in somewhere around 982, so you can make your decision on that. The question is this a big enough gap? Are we trapping enough bulls where we can start breaking that pivot? If we can break that pivot, I got a untested VPOC down here, 912. So that could be a really nice trade. I'm gonna put a WBD higher on the list to give us a little bearish. If the market does start to flip or Jerome starts saying some negative things out there, that might help push us down. I didn't listen to the conference call. I think I saw an article yesterday that everyone's still on strike, the writers, the actors, so that can't help. I do think this thing gets a pretty nice pop though, as soon as that deal comes through and everyone gets back to work. Until that happens, it's probably just wait. Don't try to catch a falling knife. But we are trapping a decent amount of people here. Good run up there. Nice little flag. That should have, I think a lot of people bullish were sitting there like, okay, we'll get that pop. Did not happen. I'm only worried really about this 986. If that could break, we have a lot of room to the downside. So we'll see on that one. Hood's going crazy right now. I see on the other screen. So HOOD. Oh, and then we got Upwork, Upstart. We got PayPal, Square, Jordan Fox is in the house. What's up, Jordan? Says DJ Dan. All right. Hood looks like a horrific gap too. So that one to me, we're already breaking a pivot again. Next level down, I think probably about 852. I think they beat on earnings per share, but missed by 12 million to the revenue side. Good double bottom on this thing into a little bit of support, but that one still looks a little bit more negative. I do want to get to the Upstarts and Upwork because I think they also missed. Yep, that one to me looks like even a better one than Hood. So, give me a green candle on this one. Give me like one green candle. This one looks good to short. We probably have room down to like $17.25. That could happen today. We'd have to get through a little bit of support first. So let's call it like 1808, something in that zone. But I think the pressure remains bearish on them. Upwork. What do I got? Like 30 seconds. Upwork. So that's quite the opposite. So that one looks pretty decent, bullish. I do want to see a little pullback. See if we can get it as close as possible to 1412. That's a massive gap. It is retail. So even if we do pull back, I'm not as comfortable probably taking that thing bullish. Not yet. Short float on that thing is probably pretty high. Man, I got like 30 seconds left. Let me get to Square. Let's see. Square. Fed is done speaking. Okay, that was a short one. Short little trip. Square, a little bit of a gap down, nothing too crazy. I think PayPal was pretty flat as well, from when I checked it at least early this morning. But yeah, it's just a little bit of a chop. You do have, this is a 3-bar. Like if you combine those candles, you're looking at a little bit of a hammer. Question is now, can we break out of that hammer? So if we start getting anywhere above 51.30, I like the continuation bullish. Otherwise, if you're a Square hater, you're probably putting your stops to short this thing. 29. That is the morning opening bell. Everybody out there on YouTube land, I do appreciate you joining us each and every day. Unfortunately, with that bell, it's like bittersweet because now I got to disconnect. Otherwise, you guys are absolutely incredible. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Be safe in the markets. Jerome Powell is done speaking. Now it's just all on the markets. Here we go.